Lake County authorities have identified the suspects in Wednesday's shootout with law enforcement. The driver of the vehicle has been identified as 34-year-old Alta Little Light Three Fingers of Crow Agency. The passenger, 27-year-old Rochelle St. Dennis, on felony probation out of Billings for assault with a weapon. Lake County Undersheriff Ben Woods said the pair sped through Missoula and were pursued up Interstate 90 to Highway 93 North until they entered the Nine Pipes area.
Once on Eagle Pass Trail, St. Dennis fired shots at pursuing officers from the passenger side of the vehicle. It's also believed that Little Light Three Fingers presented a firearm, and when the vehicle abruptly stopped east of Allard Road on Eagle Pass Trail, return shots were fired by law enforcement, which resulted in St. Dennis and Little Light Three Fingers surrendering and then being taken into custody, and no one was injured.
Woods outlines the charges against the two female suspects.
St. Dennis is being booked on charges of assault with a weapon and attempted deliberate homicide. Little Light Three Fingers is being booked on charges of criminal endangerment and assault with a weapon. The Flathead County Sheriff's Office was requested to conduct investigation into the matter due to the fact that our local law enforcement here fired shots at the suspects.
The two suspects were in a vehicle that had been allegedly reported stolen from Billings. A Montana man who was acquitted of rape has pleaded guilty to threatening to kill the prosecutor and the detective involved. The Bozeman Daily Chronicle reports 35-year-old Jared Kuntz of Bozeman pleaded guilty Wednesday to 2 counts of intimidation in an agreement that recommends a 5-year sentence with the Department of Corrections. The agency would determine his placement. Kuntz was acquitted of the 2012 rape, but convicted of a misdemeanor for giving alcohol to the 18-year-old woman. In May of 2016, Kuntz posted on his Facebook page saying he would beat the prosecutor and the detective to death with a baseball bat, unless they each paid him $500,000. Kuntz said he was frustrated because he had spent 20 months in jail and nearly $100,000 defending himself. He said he, quote, kind of vented on Facebook, end quote, and deeply regretted it. Montana Senator Steve Daines had produced a bill in the Senate yesterday that addresses the reopening of public lands that have been locked up for over 35 years as wilderness study areas.
My bill would release from wilderness study areas 449,000 acres. And what happened back in 1977, there was a law passed that said, go and study these acres in Montana and determine whether or not they are suitable for wilderness or not.
Daines warned that extreme environmentalist groups will strongly oppose the bill.
What's going to happen here, the extremists are going to be out there shouting and yelling about the fact we're taking away wilderness. That's absolutely false. These acres have been determined to be not suitable for wilderness, and they ought to be released. It should have been done 35 years ago. The law says that. Went back and read the law. The study was to have taken 5 years beginning in 1977. So it's 35 years overdue. It's time to get this done.
The lands involved are located in the Bitterroot and Lewis and Clark National Forests. Firefighting teams from Montana have been called to help battle wildfires that are forcing evacuations, closing freeways, and burning homes in Southern California. Flathead County Fire Warden Lincoln Shute says California requested 50 strike teams from 6 different states. Montana sent a total of 3 strike teams with 15 engines and 55 people from 14 agencies. 6 firefighters from Evergreen and 2 trucks were preparing to leave yesterday. Crews and engines from Marion, Whitefish, and Big Fork were also leaving. The Missoula Fire Department is sending 2 engines. Missoula Rural Fire Captain Mike Bowman said teams will be in California for 2 weeks. He says it's nice to be able to give back after teams from all over the country help fight fires during Montana's record fire season this summer. A major court decision yesterday upheld a Montana law concerning judicial candidates in nonpartisan races. Eric Sell with the Montana Attorney General's office explains.
The Ninth Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals ruled that the state of Montana's restrictions on judicial candidates seeking partisan political endorsements are constitutional, that the state of Montana does have the authority under the U.S. Constitution to put restrictions like this in place. It's a big win for Montana's nonpartisan judicial elections.
Sell says the ruling does not extend to individuals, just political parties.
This is a case of French v. Jones, and no, it doesn't restrict individuals endorsing candidates or candidates touting endorsements from individuals. It's limited only to political parties and organizations affiliated with political parties, such as local central committees, Democrat or Republican central committees, or state committees.
Attorney General Tim Fox said the people of Montana decided our judicial elections should be nonpartisan, and the court's decision respects and protects the will of the people. A Montana sheriff has reached a plea agreement for abusing his son that recommends he not be allowed to carry a firearm for a year. The Great Falls Tribune reports a Department of Justice spokesman says Pend Oreille County Sheriff Carl Suta will still be able to serve as sheriff. Prosecutors set the conditions of the agreement filed in the domestic abuse case against Suta, in which he agreed to plead no contest to kicking his son in February. Suta has been charged with partner or family member assault. The plea agreement would require Suta to spend 23 hours in jail or 3 days under house arrest. Suta will also fight this coming Monday against the legal standing of a petition to recall him from office. Opportunity Resources CEO Josh Kendrick said 2017 has been an unprecedentedly tough year for the charity, which works to find job opportunities and help for adults with disabilities. One bright spot, though, has been cooperation with local businesses. For the past 6 months, Explorer Maps has been working with Opportunity Resources, providing 5 to 6 people with work each day. According to Kendrick, it's a deal that started at the local ice rink.
The owner, Greg Robitaille, is actually my son's hockey coach, and we just happened to be talking one day at the hockey rink. He was discussing some of the struggles as a small business owner and the struggles he was having with finding workers to do the job. We were able to develop a jig and a system where our adults with disabilities were able to label the tubes for them.
Kendrick says cuts to local programs are still up in the air after the special legislative session. A move to cut services by the governor's office was blocked by a legislative committee, but he says they could change course.
We know that we may have some cuts in our case management services. There's also a cross-the-board cut that is actually, it's out there kind of floating, looming, but an interim committee up in Helena has opposed that cut right now. They can have another vote and take the block off, which would mean January 1st we'd be looking at a 2.99% cut across all the programs.
Kendrick says Opportunity Resources can provide a great service to local business. They have a workforce always ready when business heats up near Christmas. Our News Talk time, 6:12.
News Talk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Patchy freezing fog is possible this morning. Otherwise, just partly cloudy skies. Temperatures, though, only reaching the upper 20s. Tonight, we'll see temperatures fall to around 20 degrees and see areas of patchy fog again forming. I'm meteorologist Anthony Franz for Missoula, KECI 13.